Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about parties and the party system. It's very important, and it's a new chapter in terms. If you see your NCERT book, this chapter you cannot find together. So, parties and the party system in India, we are going to discuss. It's very important for competition point of view also. You can see number of symbols are drawn here, and if you identify all these symbols, it's very nice. If you don't, we will discuss again about these. First, what is a political party? You have to keep in mind what is a political party. So in class 10th you might have read that any political party might be having a leader, might be having some active members, might be having some followers or supporters. Without these three elements, there could not be a party. But even more than that, it must have same ideology of person, because different ideological groups cannot join together. If they join, there will be clashes within the party. So same political positions they must have, and they fight elections. Any political party is formed to fight election and to form government, and they attempt to get them elected, and thereby only they will be able to implement their party agenda. Else, if they are not coming to power, then they have to work as opposition party. They can pressurize the ruling party to follow some of their ideology, but it will be upon the ruling party whether they accept or not. But if the political party coming in power, then they have the driving seat to control, to implement. Now come to party system. A party system is a concept of comparative political science concerning the system of government by political parties in a democratic country. And the idea is that political parties have basic similarities. They control the government, they have some stable base of the mass popular support, they create internal mechanism for controlling funding, information, and nominations. So this is very important in terms of party system when we talk. So in comparative politics, we talk about party system. In India, Congress system also worked, and we will study about Congress system also. So Congress system, you might be knowing that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India, and he belonged to Indian National Congress. But Nehru's death in 1964 generated a lot of speculations about the question of succession, and the 1960s were labeled as dangerous decade. Why dangerous decade? because India faced many challenges and unresolved problems in this period. So questions can be asked that which period is known as dangerous decade and why. The 60s is known as dangerous decade, and it was called dangerous decade because the country faced many challenges and there were many unresolved problems. After the death of Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri finally unanimously chosen as the leader of Congress parliamentary party. Remember, he was chosen unanimously and he became India's next prime minister, means second prime minister in terms of person, if you call, because Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, though ruled for more than 10 years from 1951 to 64. During Shastri's tenure, 1964 to 1966. So you can here find that when you compare Nehru's tenure with Shastriji's tenure, you will find that it was quite short period. And in this period, two major challenges have been faced. First, war with Pakistan in 1965. Shastri is also famous for his slogans. He had given first time the slogan Jai Jawan Jai Kisan. He was knowing that India is primarily an agricultural country, so we cannot neglect Kisan. And at the same time, if we have to fight in a war against Pakistan, we have to just cheer for Jawans also. So, under his leadership, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, his slogan worked well. India defeated Pakistan, and Tashkent Agreement had to be signed. Tashkent is a city. That time it was in USSR, and Lal Bahadur Shastri had visited there, Tashkent. But after the agreement, he died. A mysterious death. Still, we don't know the real reason of his death. So, after his death, Shastri death in 1965, there was an intense competition between Morarji Desai and Indira Gandhi. These two important leaders. Indira Gandhi was backed by some senior party leaders. Morarji Desai himself was very senior, but some other senior members were backing Indira Gandhi. So, because of ambition of Indira Gandhi, 1967 election, after 19 1967 election, Congress saw a split. There were lots of differences within the party, and there were two groups of Congress. One, the Indian National Congress, O means organization, and second, the some senior leaders who had expelled Indira Gandhi. She had formed Indira Congress. So Indian National Congress organization was also occasionally known as syndicate, and because Indira Congress was led by Indira Gandhi, so they were called indicate. From Indira, indicate, senior leaders who were forming the Indian National Congress organization, they were called syndicate. So Indira versus syndicate. And syndicate was the group of powerful and influential leader. Already told you that Morarji Desai was the most powerful at that time. Indira Gandhi faced two challenges from syndicate to build her independence from the syndicate and to work towards the regaining the ground of Congress had lost in 1967 elections. So she planned for it. In different period, Congress used different symbols. You can see National Indian National Congress sometime used this flag during the freedom struggle period. Indira Congress used this symbol also. So we will discuss about various symbols they used. When we discuss about party system, that how many types of party system do we have three types of party system. First one, single party system, where only one political party will work. There will be no scope of growth of other party. It is being told that in communist country only communist party will work. If any other party is becoming more powerful, then that party will either be in power or their leader might be in jail. If they are powerful than communist party, they will be coming on power in power. And if they are not powerful than communist party, then certainly the communist party government will jail them. The leadership was dominated mainly by communist party leadership, and three main countries were single party system we had: Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, Laos, China. Bi-party system means two-party system. Two-party system mainly work in very advanced or developed countries of the world, particularly UK and USA. Both the countries are having two party system mainly. So for example, USA if we take, we find that their Democrats and Republicans, Democrats and Republicans, there are two groups of people. They have different ideology. This represent USA. So winner take all rules, existing party make rules to perpetuate their power. How the two party system perpetuates itself. We are going to discuss this. So winner take all rules, only one winner, and they will get all power. Loser gets nothing. Then there will be a strategic voting and the vested vote theory. Voters choose not to support parties that they do not view to viable. Lack of voter support discourages formation of minor party. So only in such condition fewer parties flourish and survive. Mainly two most powerful parties have been seen in USA and UK. So like USA, here we have Democrats and Republicans. Same way in UK we have conservatives and Labour, Labour Party and Conservative. Multi-party system, the best example is India. Multi means many. Multi-party system means more than one party can survive and can work, can function. They represent and fight election. Australia, Canada, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Ireland. Now United Kingdom also, because sometime other party also become important. But mainly there also two parties we are finding, and Norway. So these are the examples of countries with two a strong party. Again, they are talking two a strong parties, but additional smaller parties survive. If you look India nowadays, since the coalition era started in India, here also two main national parties are working: Congress Party and Bharatiya Janata Party. So the smaller third parties may hold the balance of power in a parliamentary system. India is having parliamentary system. USA is having presidential system. So we may invite a coalition sometime when no party is getting majority in the parliament, and coalition government might be formed. But two coalition, the larger coalition we are finding in India, one is UPA and second one is NDA. So India is not the only country to have experienced the dominance of one party, particularly in three general elections. First three general elections, only Indian National Congress was dominating. But there is a crucial difference between these and Indian experiences. In the rest of the cases, the dominance of one party was ensured by compromising democracy. Like in some countries, China, Cuba, we have already discussed earlier, Syria, the constitution permits only a single party. There only Communist Party will survive. Syria is not in this list, but in Syria also single party is working. Some other like Myanmar, Belarus, Egypt, and Eritrea are effectively one party states also due to legal and military measures because their military is more powerful. The main parties you can list out from your chapter. Some more parties you may find, but important main parties which are working here in India since independence first, the older parties we are here discussing. Socialist Party apart from Indian National Congress. So we will discuss about that also because Indian National Congress is the oldest one, very old party. 1934 and its founder was Acharya Narendra Dev. Communist Party was also formed in 1925 by M.N. Roy, founder member. Bharati Jansangh was formed in 1951 by Deen Dayal Upadhyay, and we can tell other some names, important names also. We will discuss about them also. Then Swatantra Party, 1959, it was formed by C. Rajgopalachari. This you can say the party symbol, that is the Swatantra Party. This is the Communist Party symbol. Election symbol of Bharati Jansangh. Same way, this was the symbol of Congress Party. Yes, Indian National Congress, I have already told you the oldest one. 1885 it was formed by A.O. Hume and recently formed some new parties, that is after Indira Gandhi, that is in 1977 Janata Party was formed. It was actually coalition of parties joined together. Merger of many parties created Janata Party. Jayaprakash Narayan was its main founder member. Bharati Janata Party later on in 1980, when Janata Party split, then became important party. Two founder members important were Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Lal Krishna Advani. Communist Party of India was formed in 1964. Main founders were V.S. Achyutanandan and Jyoti Basu. Then Bahujan Samaj Party, 1984 it was formed in by Kasiram. Samajwadi Party, 1994 it was formed by Mulayam Singh Yadav. The symbol of Indian National Congress this time. This was the symbol of Janata Party. This was the symbol of Bharati Janata Party, or still it's going on. Actually, Janata Party is now no more. The party was split into various groups and new parties were formed. So this party is now not active. Name changed. Bharatiya Janata Party is active. CPIM, this is the symbol of CPIM. Bahujan Samaj Party symbol, and of course this one is Samajwadi Party symbol. Question is that how did Congress win the elections? First three elections. First general election did not surprise anyone because Indian National Congress was very well known. It was fighting in the freedom struggle of India. So when the final result were declared, Congress was declared winner party. Party won 364 seat out of 489 in the first Lok Sabha election. The Communist Party, the second party which got more seat was Communist Party of India, 16 seats. The state elections were held with Lok Sabha election, and the Congress scored big victory in those elections as well. Even in states also, in most of the states, Congress Party won majority. So the root of this extraordinary success of Congress Party go back to legacy of freedom struggle. The role played by the freedom fighters who belong to Indian National Congress, like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and many other leaders of almost same caliber. In Jawaharlal Nehru, the party had the most popular and charismatic leader in Indian politics, and he dominated the politics for more than 2 decades after the government was formed. Many leaders who were in the forefront of that struggle were now contesting elections as Congress candidates, and the Congress was already very well organized party at that time. So other parties were having no option against Congress. The public were blindly voting Congress at that time. Thus, the Congress had the first of the blocks. By the time of independence, the party had not only a spread across the length and breadth of the country, as we had seen in the maps, but also had an organizational network. Most importantly, the Congress was still recently a national movement. Its nature was all inclusive. So, all these factors contributed in the dominance of Congress party. Congress as an ideological and social coalition. Congress tried to support and get support almost all type of ideological people. So Congress evolved from its origin 1885 as a pressure group. First worked as pressure group for the newly educated professional and commercial classes, and this laid the basis for its eventual transformation into mass political party. Thus, the Congress began as a party dominated by the English speaking upper caste, upper middle class, and urban elite. But with every civil disobedience movement is launched, its social base widened, and later on it spread in village areas also. It brought together diverse groups whose interests were often contradictory. Peasants and industrialists, urban dwellers and villagers, workers and owners, middle, lower and upper class and caste all found a space in Congress. Congress tried to accommodate all type of people, and gradually its leadership also expanded. So actually Congress became a rainbow coalition of different ideology. Rainbow coalition means almost all ideological people were found in Congress. Many of these groups merged their identity within the Congress, but very often they did not and continued to exist within Congress as a separate group. In this sense, the Congress was an ideological coalition as well. It accommodated the revolutionary and pacifist conservative and radical, both group of people, extremists and moderate, and sometime right, left, and all shades of the center. The Congress was a platform for numerous groups, interest, and even political parties to take part in the national movement. In pre-independence day, many organizations and parties with their own constitution and constitutional structure were allowed to exist within Congress. So this shows that how diverse the Congress had its ideology. If we take one by one the important leaders who contributed, like in Indian politics, and changed the pace of Indian political system. First person Jayaprakash Narayan, of course, he had brought total revolution in Indian political system. He was the first person who just helped to form a non-Congress government at the center for whole India, that is for central government, not for a state government, not in one state, but for whole country. The journey of Jayaprakash Narayan from Marxism to Gandhism resulted in total revolution. If you look in within him, the quality of Marxism and quality of Gandhism, this both had been seen in Jayaprakash Narayan, and this brought total revolution. It is based upon Gandhi's basic postulates, and it emphasized non-violent method of changing society. Sometimes question is being asked that what do you mean by total revolution? Why Jayaprakash Narayan used this term? So total revolution was a concept that was put forward by Jayaprakash Narayan, at times referred to as JP or Lok Nayak. Popularly, he was called Lok Nayak. So his full name was becoming Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, but in short, people were calling JP movement, Jayaprakash Narayan's movement. In the wake of Bihar movement in Patna, first in Patna on June 5, 1974, in a public meeting at Gandhi Maidan, very big Maidan, in Patna. Still, you can see there if you go. He declared that the struggle was not going to be limited to securing the demand of students, including the resignation of minister and dissolution of assembly in Bihar, but would aim at bringing about total revolution. It should not be limited to Bihar. It should be Sampurna Kranti. Sorry. So only by this total revolution we can form a new society. So Jayaprakash Narayan is known for three key contributions at that time. He first told that fight against corruption and adopt principle of communitarian socialism. Communitarian socialism, and he became the championing of total revolution. Jayaprakash Narayan was the first leader of post-independence India, and he undertook a trade against corruption through the participation of youth, particularly in Gujarat and Bihar. Even in Gujarat also, lots of very strong movement was started. He advocated the office of Lokpal. There should be Lokpal against corruption. Lokpal should look over the activities of corruption and should file cases against the corrupt officials. His call for total revolution sought to encompass moral, cultural, economic, political, educational, and ecological transformations. So you can see this was total revolution in every field. He was trying to seek support of the people. His political transformation included the right to recall. He was in favor that if any representative after winning election not working for the welfare of people, people should have right to recall him. His call for upper K log to join political struggle for a clean politics in the country. Upper K log means the person who is very much dominating in the politics and in offices. So they should also think that they have joined politics or some post to serve the people, not to dominate the people. The essence of transformation, according to Jayaprakash Narayan, evolves around man. Everything is for public, and it became the catalyst of change in India. A coalition government is formed of government in which political parties cooperate, including dominance of any one party, because no party could win election. So certainly they will reduce the dominance of one party, but at the same time they will support the party to form a majority, to achieve the majority. So this way coalition of government, coalition ministries have been nowadays formed time and again, and we will discuss it in next class. So till then, Thank you so much.